Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo, testing the iPhone 14 Pro Max camera. You just saw me doing it. It's happening right here. Actually, this video, this is happening, and it's happening live in real time. Thank you for joining on this new tech channel. As of this date, at least, I schedule it for today, thinking that weekend afternoons might be a good time to commiserate, to talk about the week's events as they unfolded for all of us. Maybe a chance for you to ask me questions here on YouTube. I have truly been testing the iPhone 14 Pro Max camera, really pitting it not against the iPhone 13 Pro Max, because honestly, I don't know if I can see too much of a difference. I mean, I know the new RAW mode is better, marginally, especially in low light. I mean, it's a little bit better. For the most part, I'm not quite sure I can tell the differences between an iPhone 14 Pro Max shot and an iPhone 13 Pro Max shot. Now, that's in stark contrast to the differences I'm finding between the Galaxy S22 Ultra and the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I don't want to get into it too deeply, or maybe at a cursory level, because I do want to do a full-on live video breakdown showing the shots side by side, the ones that I'm taking. If you do want me to do an iPhone 13 versus iPhone 14, I can. I just don't know if it's going to be as dramatic as I've been discovering between the Samsung camera and the Apple camera. Long story short, the TLDR version is that Apple's camera really hasn't improved that much from last year, and I wasn't really impressed with it last year. I think in many shots, the Samsung camera does better. Not all, but in many, I think it's a go-to camera. So welcome, everybody. Thank you, Watch with Wayne. Glad to have you here. Jesse Moreno. Oh, by the way, sorry, to go back to Wayne. Wayne, you asked a question by way of email. I want to answer that while you're here, and thank you for setting the schedule to come back here. You said, I was looking to see if I had the camera problem everyone has, and thank God I don't. Well, that's been addressed in the update that was rolled out this week. Did notice Instagram and other apps starting the back camera. There's a small click only in the first startup. Well, that could be lenses switching, possibly. Don't know. Close the app, move the camera, phone, and around to relaunch. The click comes back. I don't know about the click. Hopefully it's not like, y'all remember the zip drive? Do you remember the click of death? Remember? I never had it. I never had the zip drive. Oh, no, sorry. I did have the zip drive. Never had the Jazz drive. And I think, was that a gigabyte? Zip was 100 megabyte. Jazz, I think, was 100 gigabyte. Sorry, 1 gigabyte. Man, hang on. Let me have another sip of my decaf espresso here. That'll not wake me up. I don't know what the click is. It could be mechanical. I'm not sure if I've witnessed the same thing before. But either way, Watch with Wayne. I guess I'll have to keep my eye out. Hello from Philadelphia, says Ian Bamberger. Hello from Seattle. Weather's been fine, although it's been hazy today. We've got this is a really good question, actually. Q Abendiman. You try speaking username. Okay, Quabandaman? Quabandaman. Asking if there's any jank. Yes, there is. It feels no less janky than unfortunately, than the 13 Pro Max. In fact, I got a video of this. I'm not sure if I'm going to be uploading it. I debated whether or not I was going to upload it. Let me go ahead and just show you. In testing the camera and going back and forth, I recognized there was this weird... Hang on, let me rotate this here. Let's get this back. I'm going to rotate the screen so you can see exactly, what was happening outside, what was going on here. Watch what would happen. So I'd have the phone, right, sitting right there, and I try to swipe away the camera, right? And I noticed that it was in a different orientation. So I tried swiping down, but then it would kind of micro judder. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me try to pinch to let it go away. And this has happened a few times in the camera and Photos app. So I pinch, and then the photo rotates dynamically, and then it rotates and slides away and then comes back. And I'm like, what is going on? Okay, then I do that, and I'm like, finally, okay, it's back. So I zoom, and then I zoom out, and then let go, and then it's So if you're wondering if iOS is just as sloppy, faster slop, yes, on iOS 16. I don't want that. I don't want that. You can have it all you want. Now, you can't say you didn't see that. You can't sit there in your chair in good faith and say, I didn't see any jank. There was no jank there, clearly. That's the way Apple meant it to be. They meant it to not swipe properly, and the reorientation of the screen, and you rotated it too fast. You went from portrait mode to landscape on your own, and you shouldn't have done that. That's your problem. That's what happened. Apple is right. There was no jank. You are pinching it wrong. The answer is yes. Now, there have been other issues I've run into throughout the OS. I haven't documented as much because I hadn't kept running into them, like wacky notification animation jank as the animation disappears. Of course, I've talked about the tap targets being too small before. That's been an issue with the iPhone 16 Pro Max just as much. I don't like the notification center. Don't want to dive in too deep, but because the reason why is because on the notification center in this panel, and I don't think I have any notifications right now. This is another thing that drives me nuts. The always on display, when it's on, you got to look at the two icons at the bottom, because you can't, when I go to tap the screen, it doesn't always function. You have to wake it up and then you can interact with the screen, right? So that makes sense. So this is a perfect example, right? You know how you can slide left and right? You can't turn that off. And when you have a notification and you miss the tap target on the notification and you try to swipe this way, the widgets pop up. Or if you try to swipe that way, the camera pops open. And that's one of the biggest problems I have. One of the biggest, if not my primary issue with the notification center on iOS. That's just not the case on darn near any Android device. So there we go. Can you just give us an iPhone? I can't give you anything apart from my time. Thank you. I'll have to listen for clicks, Wayne. Thank you. Thank you. Decaf has a trace amount of caffeine. It does. And hello from Kuwait. Nice to see you from the other side of the world. The rain will be coming here soon, Ian. Your name is called Chewbacca? Well, that is a good name. That's a great name. I love it. You were hoping the hardware is caught up with the software. It is not. Actually, it would have to be the other way around, right? The software has to catch up with the hardware. The software just has been what it is. And I would imagine that Apple would reinvent iOS, theoretically, when there's a new, like a bold, dramatic departure in the iPhone design. So, for example, if and when, most likely when, Apple does away with the dynamic island now, which, by the way, as long as it's being used, and I've only really used it in the timer mode and really not prolifically, that's cool. The dynamic island is, I'm going to say, awesome. Really, it makes good use of that space. Outstanding use of that space. But I don't know if they're going to usher in a new, like, stem to stern, okay, we're cleaning house, we're getting rid of all the legacy code, everything's, all these apps are compatible, we're bringing everything over into this new baked from the ground up platform, optimized for speed and animation, all that, blah, 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 blah. We've cleaned house. I don't think that's going to happen anytime short of them doing something different with the hardware, like radically different. Not that I have a problem with the hardware at all. I think, iteratively it's worked just fine. So I'm not sure when we'd see that, apart from when they eliminate the front-facing camera, or that, basically a full, no notch, no cutout, no nothing, no dynamic island, gone, disappeared. I feel that would be a good time to introduce a new look and feel for iOS. Then again, I feel last week would have been a great time to do that, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Stopped doing that years ago, but that's okay. Notification center drives you. I'm at it. You're speaking my language. Chris, I have a fix for your iPhone Spotlight. Oh, yeah. Actually, I just did. You're going to love this. I just did a little short. You're going to see me upload. See? You're going to see the short. I don't know if you've been watching the shorts that I've been uploading. They're not, I don't think, hilarious. I thought they were kind of humorous. So that's why I uploaded them. I thought they were fine. Let me go ahead and I'm going to show you what I've been working on a new short just to address that particular problem where I couldn't find the app in Spotlight search. Couldn't figure out what was going on, and then realized that, oh, I guess somehow these settings got untoggled. So there's a way you have to toggle them back. So I'm doing a little short explaining, hey, are you missing an app in Spotlight search that you know is installed but you can't get to? Show the fix. Try to do something funny, because you gotta do humor in these shorts everywhere. I'm wearing pants, not shorts. You don't want to see me in shorts. Oh yeah, the Apple UK, that would be an amazing upgrade. 14 Pro Max from a 6S Plus, absolutely. You're not gonna hear me deny that at all. In fact, I recommended something similar for my parents. My mom specifically. She's been with the 8, just the 8, for the longest time. My dad on the 8 Plus, and I showed them side by side. I actually handed them the phone. Now, mind you, I really don't make any money from Apple. I'm not even making money on ads on this channel because it's so new. But I handed them the phone. Dad looked at it. He said, well, it seems it's the same screen. I'm like, not really. Let's open an application like news or messages or something. And I showed him that he had the bezel, right? He had the chin, he had the forehead and everything. He's like, oh, I see. And it didn't take him that long to figure out the swipe to search. And I figured as much, because here's the thing. As much as I really like, I'm not going to say I love, there's not really a phone that I love. I'd be using it if that was the case. I like the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. It is my daily driver. And Carved makes the case. I did a video on this not too long ago, or at least an unboxing, though not in this channel. That's unique. That's like organic resin crafted material in there. Like it's unique. It's a one-of-a-kind case. Love this. And they also make these for iPhones as well. Let me know if you want the link or the referral. So as much as I would say, oh, you should get the phone I got, no, I wouldn't do that. And as much as I would love to see them on a Pixel, I'm not going to do that either, because they're the type of people that, they didn't even want to move to newer iPhone because they were going to miss their button, right? I'm like, oh, okay, fine. Now I feel it's time for them to upgrade, because there's been enough of a generation gap that their images are going to be great. Mom doesn't necessarily care. Or I'm sorry, better. I'm not going to say great, because quite honestly, the iPhone cameras aren't as impressive as Android cameras these days. I know people want to hear me say differently, but if you see them side by side in the same, you just can't, there's certain, I'm not using it wrong, I swear. Okay, so anyway, I'll get into that in the future, like I said, with the shootout, so to speak, although it's very subjective. So as much as I would want to recommend to them to use an Android device, because I feel they'd be better served by a Pixel, they're not going to switch. So I handed them this iPhone, and my mom on the smaller screen, she's like, I don't know, it's just so big, it's so heavy. And that's what she sounds like. I took off the case. She said, oh, yeah, that's much lighter. I'm like, well, it's not that much lighter. But because she uses the magnifier, because what you can do on the, you can't double tap on the, on the iPhone. You can triple tap, and if you got the accessibility set up, you got the magnifier. She uses this all the time, and with all the settings that she's got, like over here, like it takes up like half the screen. So I showed her how she could use it better, and because it's got more screen real estate, despite the size of it, I would recommend, I can't believe I'm saying this, I would recommend a Pro Max for my mom with a rugged case, right? Probably an OtterBox. I'd hate for her to drop it. I dropped this today when I went for espresso. Hit right on the, man, I'm so glad I had this case. I am so glad. I'll put a link for you in the video description. You can save 15% off the case. Glad I had the case on. Oh man, it would have sustained major damage right there. But the case worked very well. I don't even think I got a scratch on the case. So I recommended for both my parents the Pro Max. Mom because of the screen, and Dad because he's on a Pro. I'm not sure, apart from speed, they're going to notice too many differences. I think they'll like the dynamic island when it's of use. Dad will love it with the sports scores because he's all about the sports. But anytime a company says, sports this, sports that, sports the other thing, I'm like, health this, health that, health the other thing. Like everything that they're pushing these days, I'm like, I just completed a 0.0 mile sit. Thank you very much. Oh, you love the vlogs are back? I edited this week's vlog, doing them 1 week. Got most of it done. And Diana and my family and Jedi, they're out at a local farm. There's a roller coaster. I'm gonna have to go next time, but I knew I had to stay home because I had to get some work done. I had to keep an eye on Maker Deck, which is going 24/7 on Twitch. Makes live 24/7, multiple makers on one screen. It's awesome. And I had to edit the vlog, so it ended up being about 40 minutes long. They've got some footage, so I'll include that. So I don't know if I'm going to be uploading the vlog until later tonight or possibly even tomorrow. So thank you. Oh, my shorts are the only shorts I watch, or you watch on YouTube, Ahmed. Thank you very much. Adam, the family's doing well. What's the best smartphone case for iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max? Big fan. You know, here's the thing. I say go for what you want. They're available at multiple price points. You can pay as little as $5, as much as $50 or $100 if you want. I really don't think I'm going to be buying Apple's cases anymore. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I did get, this was probably my last one. This is the plasticky one, right? I liked the lip on it. Good lip, really good lip. That's what I've always called it. I've been using this case just because I like the back design, but I'm not so sold on the lip, so I may flip back for the Samsung case. But they also make these, like I said, for iPhones. And I ended up going with this case specifically on the iPhone because they offered to send it to me. This is a mouse case, MOUS. And I'll put a link for you in the video description. You can save 15% on it. Saved the iPhone today. Oh man, it did. Like you would not believe. I'm so grateful they reached out. So there are so many iPhone cases or phone cases available out there. You got to find one that fits you, fits your style, fits your look, gives you what you want. I don't know what best is. Best is ultimately up to you. Save as much money as you can to get the one that you want. That's the way I look at it. So Ahmed said, Pixel is the photo king, period. Android is made for cameras, not smartphones after all. Well, I think people would be surprised because I know you've got people in two camps, right? You've got the iPhone users and the Apple users, right? No, sorry. The iPhone users and the Android users. The people who are diehard Apple people and diehard Windows people. I'm sorry, Mac OS, Windows. Sorry, I don't mean to be mixing platforms and companies here. But, you know, they usually fall in one of two camps. I'm unfortunately, I would say, not fortunately, but unfortunately somewhere in the middle because I use Windows, still waiting for the new update to roll out. Really excited for the new Windows update because even though I can't get it because apparently there's either a driver issue or some other snag on my PC. New Explorer with tabs might come in handy. I just want to see the visual refresh on that, as well as the visual refresh on the task manager and other small changes, including with the start menu. Windows to me is just it's something to pay attention to, even as a Mac user, because they are cleaning things up. I don't know how far they'll go. I don't know how fast they'll get there, but I'm very excited to see what's going to be happening, you know, coming down the pike. So I'm looking forward to that update. Didn't get it this week. Really, really kind of sad. I'm like, oh man, I really wanted it. But it says, nope, can't install it. Here's why. I'm like, why? And I go to a page and there's like 7 reasons. I'm like, what's the reason why? None of these seem to apply to me, but okay, what do I know? So you got people who live in multiple camps. I'm Windows, Mac, iPhone, Android. I mean, it's kind of like 3D printing, right? I have a Prusa Mini and I have a Bamboo Carbon X1. And I'm printing on the Bamboo right now. It's downstairs. I'm making these really cool. I customized in Tinkercad, which is a free utility you can use on the web. Log in for free, and you can design anything. People make amazing objects in Tinkercad, but I excel. Not Microsoft Excel, but I excel at making coins. That's my feeling for what I do well at in terms of a Tinkercad. So my daughter just had a birthday yesterday, made some Jedi coins for her, and then she's going to go to a friend's house who's got a theme of pirate kitties, pirate cats, something like that. And so what I did was I basically customized a pirate cat coin, and I'm printing out 12 of them right now, and I hope they turn out, because I'll have her bring them to the party and then hand them out as like gifts for everybody, not to upstage the parents or anything, but like pirate coin, cat coin things. Or maybe I should just get them to the parents first. Either way, it's like a cat skull with an eye patch, cartoon, and then skull and crossbones with whiskers. It's pretty cool. I kind of wish it was done so that I could show you. Anyway, so I've got multiple 3D printers, right? Just like I have multiple systems around here. So I have a chance to see the best of and the worst of darn near everything. So I'm not just sitting here trying to say, oh, it's this thing or nothing. Problems that I run into are typically going to be problems that other people run into. Never thought I would notice a difference with the promotion, but going back to a promotion with non-promotion, the difference is night and day. Apple UK, I've been telling you for years. I told you for years. I told you this is one of the iOS shortcomings before they moved to a high refresh rate on their phones and their screens really. I said 60 hertz just doesn't cut it anymore. It was hurting iOS. iOS is better at 120 frames per second. Android has been living in that space for the longest time, and now Windows lives in it. Mac OS lives in it. It's either 120 or nothing. I'm 144 on my desktop, on these desktop screens, but I have my Mac connected to it, as well as my Windows PC that's controlling this stream, by the way. I've been daily driving Mac from 06 and use Windows from time to time. Mix XP98. It was so much similar and no ads. Mac a few years has been a struggle. It just depends on the software you're using. I still use both. I don't see a time where I'm going to be able to choose one or the other. Benefits and drawbacks, just like between the Prusa Mini 3D printer that I've got in front of me or the Bamboo Lab Carbon X1. Like that, the Bamboo is like a speed demon. And when I say speed demon, like I mean like it is whipping around. Like it is going left and right and up and down and like just shooting all around, spitting out, well maybe not spitting, extruding filament. I said spitting, but I meant to say extruding. That is the more fair term to use. You don't want your 3D printer to spit. That is the one thing you do not want it to do. Let me go ahead and I'm going to pop over there for a second and show you real quick. There it is. There's the Bamboo. I am printing these coins. You can see it at an angle. You can see the cat head and the crossbones. So I'm doing a white bottom and then a black top and nothing on the bottom though. Nothing etched on the other side. I figured they'd be evergreen for the kids to have. So I should contact the parents. I don't want to upstage the parents and their stuff, so I'll have to get a hold of them by way of their RSVP. I'm going to print out a few of them because these would be fun. Where else can you buy cat tokens? And the reason why I'm using this printer instead of the Prusa Mini is specifically so that I, can get it done faster and without necessarily having to manually change filament. Whereas with the Prusa Mini, I would have to do that. So I'm making a correlation between those two printers and when I'm talking Android and iOS or, Mac OS and Windows, right? It's benefits and drawbacks. And it's nice to be able to play in all of them. I just, like I said, don't have the luxury of just living in one camp or another anymore. It's just not going to happen. You'd be surprised, Andrew. 3D printers have become a lot more affordable anymore. I don't know what your budget is. This doesn't take up that much space. It's sitting right in front of me. Oh, thank you, Sundeep. Good to see you. Thank you for saying it's a great new channel. I'm not going to disagree with you, but that's really kind of up to everybody who's here. Yes, Ahmed, I mentioned that I'm going to be sharing a little short. Let's see if I've got it downloaded here real soon. Like after this video is uploaded. Here, hang on. Let me make sure it's cached. Okay. I'm going to turn up the volume. This is the world premiere of the silly short that's going to be posted in this channel and TikTok and Instagram and where else? Twitter. Wherever I can post shorts. So this is showing people like when you have an app that's not showing up in Spotlight search, it was probably magically somehow, I don't know why or how, but it was disabled like in Spotlight. I don't know when they made that change, but like I had to go in and manually readjust for every one of my apps. Here we go. You should be able to hear it. Let me turn it up. Okay, it's all the way. Turn it up to 11 and play. Can't find an app you know is installed through Spotlight search on iOS 16, like the default camera app? Well, I've got a solution for you. Stop using the default camera app. Okay, fine. Open Settings, scroll to Siri and Search, select whichever app you want to toggle to make sure it shows up in Spotlight, and make sure Show App in Search is toggled. You may also want to toggle Show Content in Search, and just like that, Bob's your uncle. Yay! I'm your uncle! So... come on. It has to be funny, right? Just stop, I got a fix for you. Stop using default camera app. Well, that's a fix, right? That's one. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic, but the whole end of it, right? I had to make it funny. Like there, and just like that, Bob's your uncle. I'm looking going. Now I gotta pretend to be Bob. But yay, I'm your uncle. And like, you gotta make, that's how you make it funny. That's my stupid sense. So hopefully it helps somebody out there, figure out how to use it, but also, was kind of stupid, but helpful and stupid. Cause I've done some, like, I did one, I had Robert Noyce from one of the founders of Intel, and I had a picture of him, and I zoomed in, I said, Noyce, like, instead of, Noyce, like, but no one really liked that. It didn't go anywhere. I'm like, I thought it was funny, because his name's Robert. It was Noyce. It was literally Noyce, and no one got it. It went right over everybody's head. Right over it. Anyway, Big Fan says, right now, iOS 16.1 beta has sports scores for Major League Baseball. That's great. If you love sports, man, you are in hog heaven. Me, I will have to live vicariously. I think that from a design perspective, Windows 11 looks better than macOS. It's subjective, definitely subjective. I'm not in agreement with that, like, at all. I think, though, that if Windows continues to kind of clean up its act, as it's doing, and eliminating all that cruft, I'm not saying I would abandon macOS, but when Windows is clean, that might be a possibility. Well, I'm glad you all laughed. Thank you. Can you do me a favor? Watch my shorts. And I don't mean like my physical shorts. Watch the shorts, like them. Because if you like them in the beginning, then they spread to more. So you got to like, you got to engage. So if you see a short pop up and you like it, if you're laughing, you thought it was funny, that's the stuff that gets, accelerated, right? Here on YouTube, more so than, well, every platform's got a different algorithm, but I'm trying to make them, they're tech oriented, right? So we'll see. I got 2 laughs. No, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's good. That's a start. That's better than why. Search results should be universal. Ahmed, I'll go a step further. There should just be one search option in iOS. Like, this is what drives me nuts, right? So I've got, let me go back here to the home screen. I've got Spotlight and the Siri suggestions and everything, or I've got the app library search, and they're 2 different things. That kind of is annoying. I understand why. I really, truly do. But it's just, it's annoying. I want just one search. And honestly, I'm not all that impressed with the search options in iOS. Like when I do a search, and I don't do it all that often. But if I'm looking for an app now anymore, I'll just swipe over and then do a search. I won't do a search specifically on the home screen, even though it's the same. The results may be the same in terms of apps. Like I can now search for camera. Number one, it hesitates. Camera was already a default thing there, but I'm just showing you. There is a hesitation in starting it, but I also think that it gives me a lot more than I might need. I don't really need like a billion things. My screen went off. Did I hiccup everybody, or was I fine? Because on my end, my screen's hiccuped. As long as I didn't hiccup for you. No hiccups. Jank! No, it sounded like a power toggled for some reason. It's not too hot today, so I don't know why. Can we like this stream? Yes, you can. You should be able to press a button and like this stream, for sure. What surprised me about Apple in 2022? Sundeep asks, what surprised me? Let's see here. I'm not going to say surprised, but they've kind of doubled down on the idea that, the suggestions like that you heard like with the Apple Watch and the iPhone and everything, like if you don't have an Apple product, you're going to die. Like your life is on the line. Buy Apple. Like, that's I swear there's a subliminal message in there, because you got crash detection, though Pixel had it before them. Not a lot of people have the Pixel. Still, the feature was out there. The satellite detection, that's coming to other phones. Still, it's nice to have. The Apple Watch, with the special features and being able to like have breadcrumbs, very important. The connectivity, the accessibility, but to me, it's Apple's messaging around that, right? And I think it makes sense because Apple's less of a technology company, more of a lifestyle company. And the thing that you got to think of is, what do people do? They don't sit around and talk about tech. They just don't. I know you want them to. They just don't. They talk about life. They talk about their health. They talk about what's going on. They talk about their activities. And that's what Apple is sweeping in and effectively taking care of. They're talking less about their tech and more about what their tech enables, which I'm a fan of. I think that's the right way to do it. It's a right way to sell a product. You sell a product based upon its benefits, not its features. So I'm not going to say that surprised me, but I'm glad they're doubling down on that, despite many of their products just today not really being for me. Sunday follows that up with, what would you like to see from Apple in 2023? Give me 3 things. Give you 3? I got to give you 3 things? 3 things. What do I want? 3 things in Apple 2023. New version of iOS. I would love to see, because there's been scuttlebutt suggesting that they've got that wearable face thing. I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know if it's going to mount on a glass, like glasses frames, or if it's actually going to be glasses frames, as long as I can get my progressives. I'm not joking. If that was usable and I had to use an iPhone in tow, oh man, that would be a difficult decision for me to make. 'Cause I would love to have a wearable on my face and have augmented reality, right? I'm a fan of that. I've always been, and that's exciting to think about. It really is. It'd be weird to say, hang on, I gotta recharge my glasses. But I would like to see that sooner rather than later. But again, the caveat is, I'm not really carrying an iPhone. I'm not that impressed with the operating system. I don't think the cameras are best in class for a variety of shooting scenarios. I'm sure there are benchmarks and comparisons aplomb, but like I'm just telling you what I've done and what I've used, and I can see the differences, and most of them in most shooting scenarios. I'm not finding that the Apple necessarily best is my current choice for a phone. Okay, so 3 things. Okay, so those are 2 things. I said the reboot of iOS, right? Reboot of iOS, a wearable, and what else would I like to see? And when I say reboot of iOS, I'm going to say not just iOS, but, possibly even evolving macOS, because, the design language, and then also even tvOS. tvOS needs to be more like Chromecast by Google, or the Google TV interface. Once you start using Google TV, it's difficult to go back to using Apple TV. Not because they don't have the same apps, but because of how the content is surfaced. Like Google TV focuses on the content, not necessarily the apps. Like it's just all about the content, servicing you what you want, what you're looking for, versus looking for apps. It's a different usability paradigm, and I use an app. I'm using it right now. I've got MakerDeck going on in the background. So those are 3 things: tvOS, iOS, and what's the other one? The wearable. I'd also maybe even say, well, Matter is rolling out soon, so I'm not too worried about that. Matter will be nice to have for the devices that are Matter enabled, because it'll make it easier to go between platforms for people like me. Windows 11 taskbar is way cleaner than macOS dock. The dock doesn't bother me though. And the menu bar doesn't bother me either. I don't have like overload or overkill. Sean says, I wonder how Stage Manager will perform. Well, here's the problem. Stage Manager. I haven't tried it. I've only seen it at a distance. It seems to be built for macOS primarily, and then seemingly shoehorned onto iPadOS. You can see what people have said, like, stalwarts, who have loved Apple from pretty much day one, are not having a good time in the beta. Like the final betas and early betas, all the betas, Stage Manager has been buggy. So for a tentpole feature on the iPad at least, we'll see how it works with multiple monitors on the desktop, which is a primary use case for me. And I already have problems with multiple monitors on the Mac desktop because The Mac does not handle variable refresh rate monitors externally very well. It doesn't remember your settings. It's constantly saying, oh, no, it's back to adaptive. I don't want to this monitor, I don't want to be adaptive. So hopefully that's a fix that's coming down the pike. I doubt it is. But it's something that I've been trying to address or fix. And I've tried different apps to force it to always be that way. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I've gone to the point where I basically can't turn off the display because otherwise I'm constantly having to go in and changing the refresh rate back to what I want, 144. Do you think the reason you had trouble buying the iPhone sooner on the app is due to scalpers using bots? It's possible. I don't know. I'm not, crying in my decaf espresso. Would I have wanted a week earlier? Sure. But I'm not going to say it was because I was using Google Chrome on the desktop as one of the browsers. But, I mean, I know people who ordered the same one, the Space Black. This is Space Black, right? The Space Black phone, and they got it right around the same time. Not that I did, but they got it around the same time that everyone got their first iPhone. So I don't think they got in before me. So I don't know what happened. Other people, either jumped the queue or where they were located. Maybe there was a CDN issue here on the West Coast. I really don't know. I've not really heard much about Graphene OS, Quabandaman. Haven't heard Qman. Haven't heard much about it. I haven't tinkered much with mobile OSs beyond Android or iOS lately, and really, honestly, desktop OSs beyond Mac OS and Windows. I got a lot I gotta do, so I gotta try to keep things as simple as possible and trying not to complexify everything. Good evening, Man Cave Hobbies. I hope you're doing well. Jay Perez says the iPhone's photo processing has been way too aggressive the past several years. Yes, thank you. I miss the days where photos had a nice film grain to them rather than the common post-processing smoothing. Thank you. This is exactly what I'm saying. It's just so aggressive. It's aggressive with processing, sharpening. It's like HDR hardly works anymore. It hardly fires. It hardly triggers. And this only happened in recent generations of phones. HDR, I guess, still exists on the iPhone. But, man, the color accuracy on the iPhone cameras for the 13 Pro Max and the 14 Pro Max have been great. Stellar. But the problem is everything else is especially by comparison. Jay Perez, I'm with you. I've seen the same thing over and over and over again in a variety of shots. It's not my hardware. Other people have complained about the same problems, especially when you compare to other devices. It's true. I mean, empirically, I'll show you shots side by side when we do the photo shootout because, it's just either muddy or overprocessed or noisy. I mean, it's baffling. I just don't know what other people are seeing when they say what they say about the camera. In prime lighting conditions, it's great. But when you're not in prime lighting conditions, which is 90% of the photos you take, it's haphazard. I'm that's not what I want for my point and shooter, and I need it to point and shoot. Stage Manager should have been integrated in the dock instead of having more UX, UI elements. I haven't used it yet. It's something you can toggle on or off. I will give it a shot. I will try it. I'll see if it annoys me. I may not be the primary use case for it because typically I don't have a lot of windows open. I don't have a lot of workspaces, so to speak. You're still wearing your 35-year-old Casio calculator watch. Wow. I'm surprised it still works. Nathan's asking my daily driver, and it is a Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Very happy with it. It is... Oh, look, I got a notification. I am live in my channel. Huzzah. Woot. Oh, Noonie sent a video, my mom. Oh, she sent a Why'd she send a vertical video? I can't easily use that in the vlog. I could, but it's the spacing is really weird. Ooh, nice. I can't see this. I did not see that. Liz sent me a text. I did not see that, though. I did not see the text Liz sent. I'm reminded of the time you did the live stream where you're going to unbox the original iPad before it was released. Ended up being an April Fool's Day joke. I don't even remember doing that, Coffee Bibber. Coffee Bibber? I don't remember that. I really don't. I have no idea why, but You don't like my sound? Okay. I don't know what sound I'm giving you. It should be, like, right here in front of me. Nice and rich. Rich sound. With the soundtrack behind me, like a little music bed. By the way, you have an iPhone SE 2 and 3 after pixel peeping comparing the iPhone 13 mini. The SE models are more appealing and have more of the older film grain look, though not 100. I don't know. Apple obviously doesn't see a problem with it. Consumers don't see a problem with it. They're not stopping. My concern is... well, it's not my... My concern is... I'm not sure what they'd improve is what I would improve, but that goes without saying. All I'm going to say is that if you're looking for a best-in-class camera, I'm not sure the iPhone is it. I really don't. You have a Xiaomi. I would love to try one. I don't have it. I can't get one here, at least not easily. I would love to try those phones. Love. I wish we had more competition here. Maybe one day we will. With platforms, with software, with hardware, right? Pushing those boundaries. I will be getting the Pixel 7 too, soon enough. Then I'm going to be carrying 3 phones with me. I'm going to have, when I'm doing the photo shoot out, I'm going to have the iPhone, I'm going to have the Pixel, I'm going to have the Samsung device. Lastly, iOS still makes so much more sense on an iPhone with a Touch ID home button. Makes so much more sense navigating and actually enjoyable. I don't disagree. But it works. I guess after using that, it's less of an issue. Certainly with a dynamic island, not that big of a deal. Xiaomi has been sending review units to those in the USA. Oh, Gareth, I did not know that. I'm not connected with Xiaomi, though. Do I have to reach out? I'm like, hi, I'm Chris. I had a few people bring up, Xiaomi and suggesting that I might want to try one. And I just started a new tech channel on YouTube, and it's doing well. If you send a device, I would love to unbox it, run it through its paces, do some camera comparison tests and stuff. Sundeep asks, is there anything about the Samsung Daily Driver that annoys you? What would it take for the one and only Chris to return to Apple iPhone? A reboot of iOS. Seriously, no doubt. Better camera output, because honestly, this would drive me nuts. And even the good... here's the funny... Okay, so here's this... You're tuned in, so you get a nice little bonus. The screen on the new iPhone is bright. It is vibrant in bright light. I love the screen. But here's a problem I ran into. And it may not seem like a problem, except that, Apple's all about the colors, right? It makes, the colors are perfect, and it's this way, that way, the other way. Unfortunately, the way I'm holding it up to the camera right now, it's not going to do it justice. But maybe... no, I got to turn it down just a tiny bit. The screen is too bright. Let me... dim it. There we go. Might help a bit. So, despite the dimness of the screen, the phone camera, the output from the phone camera, the photo itself, is bluer, richer colors, like vibrant colors. And unfortunately, it was very hazy out. So it made the sky more blue than it actually was. Now, the Samsung camera, on the other hand, it was a little more subdued. It was less blue. It was blue, but not blue. Versus the camera on the iPhone, or the output, really, not just the camera, but the software processing and everything was just blue. So it was like, oh man, it did too much there. That was a scenario where it did way too much. So yeah, just FYI. But in terms of what annoys me about the Samsung device itself, trying to think, man, because I've worked around a lot of the issues that plague me with it. Easy software toggles, download good lock, you're good to go. Every once in a while you may run into scrolling jank, but it's not that bad. It's not as prevalent as it is on iOS. They've cleaned the operating system experience. I can turn off the nav bar, which I do. I like their default launcher enough where I don't even bother with a third-party launcher anymore. So what annoys me? I could say that I wish the cameras were better, but you're always going to hear me say that. Night mode's not great. Not as good as it used to be on the Pixel. It used to be, because I don't think the 6 Pro did a very good job. What annoys me about it? I'm going to take a rain check on this, because I'm not sure anything really jumps out at me offhand. I have not tried the Nothing phone. I have not. I should probably get on the list for that too. Best smartphone camera at the moment would be the Samsung. Sundeep, you can judge for yourself. For me, absolutely. Absolutely. And it used to be a Pixel for me, but I wasn't very happy, as I said, with the 6 Pro. We'll see if the 7 does any better. iOS UI now a remake of HP, then BlackBerry 10. You mean the WebOS? I don't know about that, HVAC. Garrett says, I think from what I heard, people were contacted at least is what happened with the Redmi Note 11 Pro Plus because of the 120-watt charger. They love to shout about being first. Oh, yeah. Okay, I got to write these companies down. Redmi. Hang on. Xiaomi, Redmi. Can I get any of these? Redmi, Xiaomi, Huawei, maybe? Maybe? Nothing? Just to get on their lists? Just to get on their lists. I have to buy them all otherwise. Like, and I'm not going to... I don't have the budget to buy, 4 smartphones that I'm not going to use like that. But it'd be nice to have the experience to be able to speak to them like this. I have a Pixel 5a, and yes, even that phone outperforms new iPhone 13 models. But iPhones still are easier to simply point and shoot. All Pixels I've had never had been reliable or predictable. Really? I found just the opposite. I found the Pixels to be very reliable and very predictable. I just found that a Pixel 4 XL seemingly took better shots than the Pixel 6 Pro. Like, dramatically. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. To the point where I actually did videos last year comparing. I just couldn't believe it. Seriously, could not believe it. The thing that I used to love the Pixel for, I felt took a step backwards with the 6. I don't know if they're coming back with the 7. I don't. I was always very happy with the Pixel camera. Have I had trouble with the battery life and always on display? I haven't really drained the battery. The only issue I've had with this always on display is that sometimes I think it's on, and then I go to, manipulate some object on the screen, and then it's not on. So then I'm like, oh, I have to, like now, it's like it's off. So I'm like, why is it, see, the globe is blurry, and I'm like, and then I had to kind of swipe and try to get, so I was trying to get it to wake up. Now it's ready, now it's open. So, no, I meant to swipe down. No, I meant to swipe over. Thing that drives me nuts. So many misswipes. So many! And they add up. So, I left it unplugged overnight and have been shooting with it. It's at 58%. So if that gives you any indication, that's pretty good. Been using it, not heavily, but been using it. Yeah, Ahmed, I couldn't speak to the underlying hardware of any of this. Once Xiaomi brings Leica optics to phones outside of China, they will certainly be contacting the international audience once again. Well, Gareth, I gotta find leads. I gotta find contacts. I gotta knock on doors and say, "Hi, I'm Chris." Oh, you're but a small little person who knows nothing. You just started on YouTube. You have a measly. No, these are. How could you say that? These people are awesome. How could you say that, pretend PR person? That's the thing. You're dealing with a PR person. They would see the other channel. Oh, you got 300,000 subscribers there. I'm like, yeah, but that's for vlogs because the tech stuff doesn't work there anymore. And I tried. I'm like, well, but that channel's new. I'm like, yes, exactly. It's new. It's great. I need to throw content into it. I even tried to reach out to Motorola. So I got to try again. Let me write that down. I'm trying, people. I'm trying to get the phones for you. I'll write down Motorola too. Trying. Those are mostly mid-range though. Sony maybe? What is it? ROG? R-O-G? I can try. What do I think needs to happen to really shake up the smartphone market again? Adam, Apple needs competition. And right now, like, Apple's got such a stranglehold on everything. Samsung's the closest thing Apple has to competition. And even them being, I think, a serious competitor in terms of quality control, still not enough. So for the smartphone market to be shaken up, some people say foldables. I don't know. I'm on the... software's got to be in lockstep with it, and I'm not sure the software is there with the foldables or the flippables. Some people love them. Not going to take away from that. But I feel that it's going to be a radically different approach to software and services that'll do it. Buy this smartphone, get unlimited X, Y, and Z. And there are incentives everywhere, right, to buy into it, because then it makes more sense. You can save money by going that route. The problem is there's so much of a divide between iOS and Android. The thing that's going to change that, I believe, is messaging, and which is all the more reason why Apple is, holding its cards, tight to its chest with, not using or leveraging RCS, which they should be. For all the reasons, but you would argue, well, then people would move from iMessage. No, I don't think they're going to move from iMessage for that reason. They're going to stick with Apple because they like the software. They like it. They think it's the best, and everything's compatible, and they don't have to worry about moving. But it's not hurting them enough. And when other entities roll out end-to-end encryption, like let's say Facebook Messenger, I'm not going to say you're going to see a bleed, but more of those applications that pull people out of Apple's ecosystem, I feel are going to help shake up that game, because it's honestly, it's Apple's race to lose for that, and that reason. Sundeep says, as an Apple fanboy, Chris, I agree. Samsung camera quality is quality over an iPhone. Sundeep, I mean, I've shown pictures side by side. I'm like, look, the Samsung camera clearly has better depth of field. I don't know what to tell you. The lens is not biased. Like, I took the same shot using the macro feature on the iPhone for sure, and using the close-up or macro feature on the Samsung for sure. Better depth of field. What do you want? Like, I can't... It's dramatically so. Indoors, outdoors. There are some things that the iPhone does better, and there are many things that the Samsung phone does better, for sure. I need to sit down over dinner with Tim Cook. The closest I've ever come to that, maybe, was I've had dinner with Woz. He spoke at an event that I ran years ago, a tech event, Gnome Decks, if you remember that, back in 2004 at least. But I actually sat across the desk or dinner table from Jim Alchin when Microsoft was doing Vista. And I was telling him all the things that were wrong with the user experience and the user interface on Windows Vista. I'm like, why do you have 13 fonts? Sorry, that was dramatic. Why do you have 4 different fonts in the same dialogue, the same app? Like 4 different fonts. Why? Choose one. Stick with one font. I raked him across the coals to the point where he autographed a CD that said, I'm sorry. So I actually have a Windows Vista Beta CD autographed by Jim Alchin saying, I'm sorry. I have been very critical about this stuff for years. I want a better experience. I'm not mad. I don't hate these places. I don't hate people. I don't hate these companies. I just want them to be better. And honestly, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't anybody want them to be better? I have the Apple Watch Ultra and the battery on it is amazing. Oh, I don't doubt that, Sean. But my belief is a lot of people buying the Apple Watch Ultra aren't necessarily the target users. Like, if all you do is drive to Starbucks and, walk around, probably not the use case, apart from battery life, honestly. So that I would not begrudge anybody. I would have no problem whatsoever wearing an Apple Watch Ultra, if only for the battery life. That's it. And the screen. Honestly, a bigger screen on my wrist wouldn't bother me. Wouldn't bother me a bit. I know some people are like, oh, it's so big. I'm like, I don't want it to be diminutive. I switched to the Samsung Watch 5 Pro specifically because of the battery life, even though I never really hit 100% in the day in normal charging cycles. I did that review. I posted that review here to this channel. Hopefully y'all caught that. Hopefully YouTube and its almighty algorithm. If you missed any of the videos I upload, please go back and watch them. It would mean a lot to the algorithm if you did. Tim Horton says, "Say our food is delicious. I'll send you $50. Your food is delicious, Tim Horton, especially the Timbits. Wait, are your Timbits, are they vegan, Tim? You can't send me $50 right now because I don't have monetization turned on this channel. I don't have enough hours accrued yet. Tim, you'd have to do it another way, unfortunately. We're coming upon an hour, and I'm trying to keep these broadcasts right around that length. So thank you for tuning in. Mike Thundercloud says, as far as I've seen since the iPhone 12, Samsung screen battery 2 or 3 levels beyond iOS. Love the screen. Battery's been great. Gabriel says, if iOS fixed all its jank, would you switch back? No, it's not just the jank. It's the software user experience. It's not just the jank. It's the UX. It's the user experience. Not just the jank. It's just insult to injury, right? Samsung has the opposite problem. Apple Samsung software is way superb than its hardware. Fold 4 software is dope. Haven't used it yet. I probably should get into Samsung, although they probably hate me from way I raked them across the coals for the weird issue I ran into with the camera on the Galaxy that I got. They're probably going to say, "Nope, Chris, you are on the PR ban list." Oh, well, it happens. Oh, do I need to update my TikTok link? I thought I had the right one. In Europe, iMessage is barely used. Oh, okay. Well, see, there you go. I think more people are going to maybe not realize that, but as the other apps get better, there's less of a reason to stay on any one app, especially for interoperability with your non-iPhone using friends, if you have any. I just think that the messaging is a war that is weird to me, because imagine you not being able to email me because I'm not using, an iPhone. That's just asinine. Facebook wouldn't have taken off that way. Twitter wouldn't have, any social network. You got to look at messaging like a social network. Not like, Apple's all big into the privacy stuff. I'm like, well, other platforms, other apps have privacy, and they're cross-platform, which is important, especially if you don't just live in Apple. I can't see a membership button, so I'll sub on Twitch. Oh, thank you. Yes. I don't have any monetization turned on, Khalid, yet, because I have to accrue 3,000 more hours-ish in this channel. So it's gonna be a steady climb. So thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Are taxes for tech pretty high where you're at? Joe asks. 10% in Seattle. Apple doesn't have enough criticism to do better in terms of user experience. Yes, I agree. But that's not a problem for me. I will criticize. But, because I want the product to be better. Not because of hate. I find myself waiting for animations to finish a lot on the iPhone. Does Android have this problem? Absolutely not. I talk about that. It's a boon. It is awesome. Like the animation whip, 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 whip. iPhone. Telling you, faster. I adjust the speed in developer settings on Android to 0.5. You're not active at all? Oh, for the watch, yeah. Oh, thank you for subbing on Twitch. I appreciate it. How'd I fix the camera issues? I got a new device. Although it had been suggested that other things could happen, but other people had run into it. I'm like, I don't know what the heck's going on. It's just this yellow hue. It was weird. I sent him screenshots and everything. I'm like, dude, I just got this thing. Adam says, great to be back on YouTube with the tech stuff. You're the reason I created a YouTube account. Awesome. Hey, that's great. I made you interested in good software design. Awesome, Adam. Thank you for watching all the videos I upload, too. Seriously. It means a lot to a YouTuber. And I'm not a YouTuber, but someone who uploads to YouTube, you have to watch all the videos. Otherwise, YouTube stops recommending them and I'll disappear again. Not because I want to. No one's using iMessages in Africa or even the entire Middle East. WhatsApp dominates. Oh, wow. Oh, thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching the videos, liking, turning on notifications. It's a big deal when you do that. What is your iOS, or what is your Ultra running? Is it the new OS? No, it is currently just the standing one. It's not running, what is the version 5, One UI 4.4? 4.1? I can't remember. Not 5. There's not really much I'm looking forward to, though, in the new version. In One UI 5, I can wait. I mean, yes, there'll be bug fixes. I don't think there will be any speed improvements. UI changes at a distance don't seem to be as exciting to me. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like that as much. We'll see. We'll see. You'd love to watch my interview, Tim Cook? Oh, I don't think that's ever going to happen, GC Laredo. By the way, how's my favorite Garbage Pail Kid? Did you get Chrome OS Series 4? I did. And I've got the Crashers coming in. Series 3 Crashers was released online. I had to, because I had Series 1 and 2 of those. GC Laredo is also a fellow Garbage Pail Kid collector. The problem that current Apple doesn't want criticism at all. Unlike saying someone who listens, this is why I'm worried about the future iOS and interested in Android and One UI. Every company's different, and they keep selling the devices, so hey, more power to them. But, if they want feedback, I'm happy to give it. And unfortunately, like I said, being open and honest with my feelings sometimes gets me off of lists. That's the risk I run. you know, but it also, you know, keeps me from like, okay, I can't buy this device. I bought the iPhone because I already had one, so I was able to exchange, so I could justify that cost because I use it, right? It's good to talk about, it's good to have that experience, but I use it in and around. If only now for that photo lifting feature in iOS, which I love. I'm gonna have to do a wacky little short on that. What's a vintage tech device I miss? What's one vintage tech device I miss? I don't know. They've all been replaced by a smartphone, honestly. Difficult to say. But it's a good question to end this this stream. You know, I guess I gotta think about this. There's a lot of vintage tech, but I'm you know, I remember using these things, but honestly, the smartphone replaced everything. I never missed using the fax, even when it was brand new. I'll say this: I miss BBSs. Not the original social networks, right? BBSs. So it's not. It is vintage tech. BBSs. You can still telnet into BBSs. It's just not the same anymore. You can still get into BBSs, but it's not the same. So I miss BBSs. I'll say that. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Sorry, I'm going to cut it off, but we're right around an hour. I want to try to keep these live streams every weekend. Right around an hour long. Thank you for turning on notifications. Thank you for liking. Thank you for watching the videos I'm uploading. I am also on Twitch, trying to stream every day over there in much a similar capacity, you know, doing the 3D printing thing, showing some Star Wars stuff that I get, talking about things that aren't necessarily related to tech, but yeah, sneaking in some tech as well. I love you. I appreciate you, but at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices, and may the Force be with you always. And I guess I'm going to have to do it because y'all keep asking, like, do the "E you later" thing. Fine, I just did.